All right, let's talk about something that feels like an act of kindness, but is actually one of the most dangerous financial moves you can ever make. I'm talking about co-signing a loan. We're going to break down exactly why this simple favor can absolutely destroy your financial life.
So, let me ask you something right off the bat. Would you take your credit score, the one you've probably spent years carefully building, and just put it all on red at a roulette table for somebody else's bet? Because honestly, when you co-sign a loan, that's pretty much exactly what you're doing.
You know, it almost always starts just like this. It's a simple text, maybe a phone call from a family member, a best friend, someone you really care about. They need help, and you're the person they came to. And that feels good, right? To be trusted. But this request, as innocent as it seems, is a huge financial trap.
And that's really the core of the issue, isn't it? These requests don't come from strangers. They come from people who are a huge part of your life. The bank already told them no for a reason. So now they're coming to you, counting on your love and trust to get a yes.
And that's what's going through your head, right? You're thinking, of course I'll help. They're good for it. I trust them completely. You're focused on the best possible outcome. Because let's face it, thinking about the alternative is really uncomfortable. But that question, what could go wrong? Well, as we're about to find out, the answer is everything.
So, to really understand the massive risk here, we've got to talk about the huge difference between what you think you're doing when you co-sign and what the law and the bank know you're doing. And trust me, they are not the same thing at all.
I want you to pay very close attention to that phrase, 100% legally responsible, not 50-50, not only if they can't find the other person, 100%. The second your signature hits that paper, the bank sees you and the borrower as the exact same person.
This right here shows the huge disconnect. You think you're just a backup plan, but legally, that loan is just as much yours as it is theirs. You might think your credit is just a good reference, but in reality, your entire financial history is now chained to this debt. And here's the real shocker. The bank doesn't have to call you last. They can legally come after you for the money first, simply because you might be easier to collect from.
Let that sink in for a second. This is the single most important takeaway. When you co-sign, you are not helping someone else get a loan. You are getting the loan. Full stop.
Okay, so what happens when things go south? And let's be real, they often do. The moment your friend or family member misses just one payment, it kicks off this devastating domino effect that comes crashing right down on the one thing you've worked so hard to protect.
And here it is, your beautiful, healthy credit score. Let's call it a 780. You earned this. It's the result of years of paying your bills on time, being responsible. It's basically your golden ticket in the financial world.
But then, life happens. Your friend loses their job, or has a medical emergency, or maybe just wasn't as good with money as you thought. They miss a payment, and maybe they're too embarrassed to even tell you about it. But the bank tells the credit bureaus immediately. And boom, just like that, a single payment that's 30 days late can torpedo your score by 100 points or more. All that hard work, seriously damaged in an instant. And that late payment, it stays on your credit report, haunting you for 7 years.
And the real-world pain from that score drop is immediate and widespread. Suddenly, you might get denied for your own mortgage or car loan. Your car insurance rates could spike. You might have trouble even renting an apartment. And if the loan really goes bad, get ready for endless calls from debt collectors and even the possibility of them garnishing your wages. All for a car you don't even drive.
As awful as all the financial stuff is, there's another cost that honestly can be even worse. And that's the absolute destruction of the relationship that got you into this mess in the first place. Just picture that moment. You pick up the phone, and it's a collector demanding money for a loan you didn't even use. In that instant, the trust is just gone. It's shattered. And every single conversation you have with that person from that day forward is going to be tainted by this mess. The entire dynamic just flips upside down. What used to be about trust and support is now all about resentment and blame. Family holidays become incredibly awkward. That mutual respect you had, it's been replaced by the bitter feeling of a broken promise. In the end, it's not just about losing money, it's about losing someone you truly care about.
So, we've seen the absolute wreckage this can cause financially and emotionally. So how do you stop it from ever happening? Well, our source material, the Sovereign Ledger, gives us a very simple, very powerful, and totally non-negotiable rule. That's it. That's the rule.
It's not never cosign unless it's for your kids, or only cosign if you really, really trust them. The rule's an absolute. Never cosign alone. It's a cornerstone of protecting your own financial well-being.
I mean, just look at the simple risk analysis here. In the absolute best case scenario, your friend pays every single penny on time. What do you get out of it? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Your credit is still held hostage by that loan for years, but you get zero benefit. And the worst case scenario, you lose everything: your money, your credit score, and your relationship. It is all risk and zero reward.
Look, saying no to someone you love is incredibly hard. But you have to reframe this in your mind. You aren't being selfish. You aren't being a bad friend or a bad sister or brother. You are acting as the CFO of your own life. And a good CFO would never, ever take on a liability with unlimited downside and literally zero upside.
And that's really what I want to leave you with. The great irony here is that by co-signing to protect a friendship, you're actually putting it on a path to almost certain destruction. The single best way to protect both your finances and your most important relationships is to keep them separate. So do you have to choose? The real answer is that by saying no, you are actually protecting both. Thanks for tuning in.